Now, Season 1 Reloaded's Black Ops 6 content in particular just got a bit more interesting as we had another major update for balance and adjustments to gameplay, not necessarily content. Noticeably absent from the Black Ops 6 side of the Season 1 Reloaded patch notes were the very thing we're seeing rolled out today. So in this one, we're going to be taking a look at everything you need to know about this new update and everything that came along with it. So drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you guys enjoy the video, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 6 as we now chase down 700,000 subscribers. Also, if you want to join us on the secondary content journey, we're starting to kick back up the second channel, link down there in the description below, where we'll have a bunch of stuff that isn't COD. I'm a little behind, but we're going to have still a ton of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle content, guides, reviews, all that kind of stuff, among many other games in the future. But if you want to check that out or join the community here, I'd love to have you for either of those. But anyways, let's get into what happened with this update. So firstly, was this a title update? Do you actually have to download something? Well, yes, this was one that does actually require a download, not just a simple quick hot fix, but it appeared to be a smaller one here, both on PlayStation and PC. Couldn't even get some footage of downloading this update because it was done that quick. So let's start with the baseline of what changed here with this. For the multiplayer side of things, there's a few larger overhauls of sorts. Firstly, weapon motion changes were a big topic here of this, where firstly they reduced visual recoil on all weapons, especially full auto weapons, and this is perhaps one of the single largest changes that can be made to weapons outside of their balancing. Visually looking more controllable, taking out unnecessary shake, like recoil is still there obviously, but the additional effects you'd see of the model shake, iron sights bobbing a bit as you're firing, all of these things can make them sort of feel intrusive, make it feel like this isn't necessarily as accurate on your shots at the sake of air quote realism. So this is one of those things that absolutely I'm on board for them removing some of these effects. They also stated they reduced the turn sway on all weapons, especially on higher magnification optics, so you're not going to get that effect while going from side to side. They reduced gun kick on higher magnification optics on all weapons except for sniper rifles, so visually you're not going to see that bobbing as much whenever you're firing. They've reduced the default idle sway on all weapons except sniper rifles, which is absolutely huge, that if you're just looking at your iron sights and where that aim is going, it's going to be a lot closer to that pinpoint location that your cursor or center crosshair is going to be at. They reduced weapon motion, which is like that bob translation, and idle sway penalties as a result of walking or changing stances in ADS, so you're not going to have that whenever you change stances, as much deviation initially, and they removed additional layers of hip-fire deviation, which caused crosshairs to bounce while firing. So again, all of these are major changes to things that you might not consider too much, but are probably some of the largest updates to weapons they can make outside of, again, weapon balancing, changing damage attributes and things like that. So on paper, big fan of some of these changes here. We'll see how it translates to in practice, and we'll touch on that again in a second when we talk about the actual weapon adjustments to the values and such. Aiming idle sway delays were also adjusted, where the delay on all weapons is now 2.2 seconds, so it takes a little bit for that aiming idle sway to kick in. Snipers now fully removes idle sway rather than reducing by 50%, and target lasers now improve the aiming idle sway delay to be 2.9 seconds on all weapons, so giving a little bit more of a reprieve for how quickly it jumps into aiming idle sway. Headshot damage, before we talk about weapon values and attributes changed to individual weapons, this was another key target area of this update, where it stated headshot damage has been a big source of discussion in the community, and we are making adjustments that will increase the effectiveness of headshots on full auto primary weapons. Our philosophy on hit location modifiers in Black Ops 6 has been to limit sources of inconsistency, especially when players are engaging in so many forms of movement. That said, we understand that players have muscle memory and expectations built around headshots, and we want our gameplay to support that. In most cases, weapons require one fewer headshots at all ranges to improve time to kill. The major exception is SMGs in the max damage range, as we are wary of letting these TTKs get too fast. To compensate, we are increasing SMG ranges to help them keep that consistent edge at short ranges. The CHF barrel attachments have also been adjusted on all updated weapons to maintain a step up on the new default values. We expect this change to greatly impact the weapon meta, especially in conjunction with our weapon motion changes. We will be monitoring closely as the new meta settles to make sure individual weapons and weapon class variety continues to be strong in Black Ops 6. So headshots are a fix that on paper, again, might notice a bit of the difference. The key mention being at base, you're going to see about one headshot less required for that kill. As of recording this immediately after patch notes dropped, how it plays in practice again is a bit more unknown, but still, having seen these on paper, they seem to be decent changes. Now, As for individual weapons and the tuning of themselves, the XM4 saw a slight buff to the damage range, but minor nerf to the damage at that max damage range, along with a few adjustments of eliminating the medium damage range entirely. The Aims saw a max damage range decrease, GPR also saw a max damage range decrease, the Goblin saw a max damage increase, but slight max damage range decrease, the Model L simply had that max damage at range increased, and the AS Val saw a damage increase at all ranges, but also a nerf to the max damage range. Additionally, again, all of those weapons we just mentioned and the AK and Krig saw adjustments to the headshots and the CHF multipliers, while the Krig also saw additional nerfs to the sprint to fire time, tac sprint to fire time, view kick strength, duration, and deviation, since that was kind of the new meta that was formed out of Season 1 here. The SMGs, we saw the C9 increase to all damage ranges, but decreases to the max damages for those ranges. The KSV, Tonto, PP919, Compact, SOG, and Jackal all saw damage range increases, but the Jackal also saw a slight decrease to its max damage. All of those weapons, again, had the respective headshots adjusted, with the CHF barrel being adjusted as well. The LMGs, we saw slight range adjustments to the PU21 and GPMG, and all three saw adjustments to, again, those headshots and CHF barrel attributes. The melees, interestingly, got adjustments as well, where it was stated we are improving melee weapon attack speeds, especially on the 2-hit kill weapons. Our goal is for all of the melee weapons to feel unique and satisfying to run, and we'll continue to find ways to hit that target while ensuring that melee is not frustrating to play against. So knife, baseball bat, and power drills all got buffed in their attack speeds. Obviously, the combat knife being the lesser of those in the adjustments, simply because it's still a one-hit kill. Then, additional MP changes, we saw the frag grenades was slightly nerfed and that damage radius with flak jacket equipped. The spawn logic on Hacienda was improved, and then we saw mode adjustments for face-off, where all of the modes were increased in score limits. TDM is now up to 150, kill confirmed up to 100, kill order up to 200, and domination up to 150. All of these increasing the lengths of those matches, which are pretty short in the grand scheme of things by comparison to the main modes. 10v10 ended up seeing its kill confirmed score limit go to 100, and TDM is now increased to 150. So adding again a bit more in terms of duration to those matches that would otherwise go a bit quicker. Prop hunt, we saw the prop movement speed increased on all props minus extra large props. The round limit is now down 1 minute to 3 minutes instead of 4, and it's now available in private matches, which is cool. And the final thing is Nuketown Holiday got rid of that glowing effect on some players that you'd end up seeing. Obviously a bug, they're not necessarily radioactive or anything like that, but some changes to multiplayer beyond weapon tuning and weapon balancing. Now, that's the multiplayer side of things here. Warzone honestly was a much smaller update. Most of what we saw was with last week's update, but this now basically brings more Black Ops 6 changes in line with the Warzone experience. The biggest and notable, of course, being the changes to the abundance of adjustments to the penalties, with the increased horizontal view kick and gun kick control for the CHF barrel. There were some other smaller things here included with that, where the Krig also carried over some of those actual handling attributes as well, just because it was so good in MP. The SOG had an adjustment with the Akimbo attachment, and the Maelstrom Dragon Breath also got a laundry list of adjustments to that specific attachment. And additional changes were munitions boxes now providing the maximum amount of ammunition for players, whereas at Season 1 Reloaded, it was only giving you 60 rounds, which didn't really help you at all. And it will no longer provide you ammunition for each other ammunition type as well. Buy stations are a bit more static, but beyond that, not a whole ton in regards to Warzone changes, which can be a bit frustrating because, as I'm told at least, Warzone's still kind of a mess. I have zero interest right now in playing Warzone, which is kind of just me being burnt out on it, and also the fact that I don't really want to deal with the problems that I've heard talked about. So I'm just not really playing too much of Warzone until it's fixed out a bit. But those are your adjustments to Warzone and to multiplayer as well. It also seems like Zombies has a bit of work here in regards to bug fixes and everything that comes along with that. But it seems like this update was more so planned just for multiplayer, more so than anything else. Again, in the patch notes, it even mentioned that this change was going to be coming shortly after the launch of the update. So this is probably something that was already planned, and these other adjustments that need to be made across Warzone, across Zombies, those are probably going to be coming in, again, a future update here in the near future, but it just wasn't included with this pre-scheduled, predetermined update that we have right now. But anyways, that is where we're at. That's the update 1.64 for Black Ops 6 for multiplayer, weapon tuning, and some foundational changes for how weapons work as well. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this update here for Black Ops 6? Liking the changes made? Not so much. Hoping to see a little bit more changed in the near future. Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6, Warzone, and other FPS content. I'd love to have you in the community. For now, though, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.